All right, so great blocks on Main Street. So great blocks on Main Street, it's all about an opportunity to really focus in. And this is actually my, Rich Williams. I believe he was in the field with Will when we just had this idea of what if we did a facade squad on steroids and not just focus on doing a couple buildings, but let's just focus on the street and the public amenities, and rather than trying to do this really huge project that probably there's not enough resources to really focus on. Let's just focus on a 2 or 3 block area that we can really catalyze some development. The whole idea is to do a major redesign and engineering of that commercial area and build off that with follow-up technical assistance around building rehabilitations and economic vitality. So when we're looking for areas, I think that need, that they're underutilized, that they could use, the sidewalks need to be redone, the streetscapes need to be redone. And again, we're focusing on a comprehensive redevelopment and revitalization of a core area of your commercial district. So keep that in mind. I mean, if it's an area where, you have a lot of public buildings and not a lot of commercial space, that's probably not the area you want to be focusing on. The whole idea is to really look at the reinvestment of the private funds, right? So these funds will allow the local government, and we've done it back and forth where we've actually hired the contractor in the past. It all depends on where the funding was coming from. This is coming from capital outlay, so this will be an award that goes directly to your local government. It's a reimbursable grant. So when we award the funding, we do the grant agreement, we develop the scope of work, we work with you, we give you a scope of work for what needs to be included in these great blocks, not just the deliverables as far as community meetings, what the construction documents should look like, in terms of what's needed in them to get to 100%. This is the first phase, and that's the one thing we like to make sure you understand, that we're investing with you into a larger, investment, I think, over the next few years, because the first phase is just the development of the construction documents. We want to focus on vacant and underutilized buildings and building expansions, but that comes in the second phase, or the third phase, I'm sorry, because we develop the construction documents. Second phase is securing funding for the actual construction, and that's kind of what we're doing with, I think, category 3 for our other projects that are already construction ready. So we're basically trying to put you in the pipeline so that next year you're ready to apply for construction funding. Once that's complete and construction's complete, again, we want the third phase to focus on is on the rehabilitation, restoration, and small business development. So that's part of that targeted plan that we're going to be putting together with you. We've done that with all of our Main Street programs, at least the earlier ones. The newer ones, we still have to reach out, because I know Connie's listening. I think I don't know that we've actually finished that plan for Tucumcari, but I think we're going to be working with a team of Main Street revitalization specialists around the 4 points, though, to develop a plan to actually work on that third phase once construction begins. Again, this is we are looking for performance. Well, the legislature is looking for performance, and so as is your local government. So we do want to make sure that we can demonstrate how these are economic development projects. We want to be able to show, not only show them a product, but show how this leads to economic development. So again, have that in mind as you start to think about where you're looking for this project. We're not just talking about sidewalks here. We're talking about broader redevelopment in a 2 to 3 block core area. Kind of talked about this already. These are some conceptuals for, I believe this is Belen. This is in a railroad district. These are just some kind of the conceptuals that came out of, they actually got construction documents now, but these are some preliminary ones that we were just kind of looking about what it could be, right? So just think about that. The whole idea is just to catalyze and bring more energy to an area. Here's some Railroad Avenue. Oh, I guess this is still, I believe this is Belen still. Just some other, I think just another conceptual drawing about how they were looking at parking, drainage, and walkable space, right? So that's the idea that they're going to be looking at a number of things. It'll go through a community process where whoever the design team that's hired will be hosting a number of community meetings to get ideas to build. They'll start working on the construction documents in different phases and present them for review and comments as they go through. And again, it's something that the local government will be highly involved in, as they're the ones that are going to have to execute these projects at the end of the day in terms of receiving funding and really moving these projects forward towards completion. So again, qualifying communities, we kind of went over earlier. You have to be a accredited program, full-time director. You can't have any open capital outlay funds that have been unspent. So we are looking for new projects, and this will be your primary project over the next 3 to 5 years. Not only just getting through this point, the actual construction, but then the follow-up to build out that public investment. Sorry, I keep hitting this thing in my way. Let's see. Future applications. So yeah, you won't be able to apply for future funding until this project is finished, at least capital outlay. So all our resources will go toward this project. Again, if you've reverted money in the last 5 years, and I don't think we have any communities that have, we just put there, and just in case, because Julie is very good at hounding you if you're getting close to reverting any funding, because that's something we definitely don't want to do is send it back. So I think we're okay there. And then again, the clean audit from the local government, which our CFO will certify those projects. So in terms of application content, please explain clearly how this project economically ties to your metropolitan redevelopment or master plan, and how it will specifically contribute to the transformation strategies that you've adopted, right? Your economic transformation strategies. We're looking for you to describe the 2-block area. We're looking for some pictures in terms of, what the deficiencies are in terms of underutilized space, needed improvements. Again, the overlay, if there is any historic district boundaries or cultural properties that are located in that district that could be affected, because again, we have to partner with HPD. If it's on a DOT highway, we need to know, because we got to make sure that we're reaching out and working with them. Pictures of the buildings and streets, the areas needing remediation and upgrade, and I guess just other general documents, associated with the application. We know we'll follow up with the plan, but if there's specific, things that, building renovations or rehabilitation opportunities, please identify those. Any street improvements that have been completed recently that we could build up, or other potential creative placemaking opportunities that we can add to this. Because as we put these, they develop the construction documents, we ask them to often build in a $15,000 project that can be like an early phase project to, because we know it's going to take a little time to get some of the larger funding and get the infrastructure completed, but we are looking for opportunities to help build off this and show some kind of product early on, right? Which is like something we did with the Breezeway project in Tucumcari, just as some way to start some creative placemaking projects early on. And just other business development strategies you would like to pursue that are connected to your ETS. Some last thoughts, just please remember that this is targeted comprehensive economic redevelopment. So we're looking at projects that we're looking at getting projects construction ready. So that is the whole point of this. And we would like to complete this within the year so that we are ready for actual construction funding next year when funds and hopefully funds will be available, and we're hearing everything that they will be. Again, our New Mexico revitalization specialists are available to assist you through this project, whether it's locating or identifying a prime area for a Great Blocks project, or even letting you know that maybe your idea may fit better with the general Main Street capital outlay funding, because either you've got a fairly nice streetscape already, or the targeted area isn't really I guess something that would fit into this. It just depends, because we know we've gotten some applications in the past that were probably more regular Main Street regular capital outlay fund projects, and we've kind of steered them toward there. But I think just finding out and working with us ahead of time is probably the easiest thing to do to save yourself some trouble from applying for the wrong type of funding. And I believe that's all I have. I will again open this just to see if there's any questions. If they are, please, if you have questions, I think you can go the same way and type your questions in. And again, I will be available over the phone if you have any additional questions or want to talk about something specific. But I will wait a few minutes and see if there are any specific questions that you'd like to ask at this time via the questions section that you can type in. I'm not seeing any questions specifically, but again, feel free to call me for these projects. Probably myself and Amy Bell and Will's done them as well, are probably the folks you want to be in touch with if you're considering applying for a Great Blocks on Main Street project. Will and Amy have done a lot of the follow-up, working hand in hand with the actual contractor that's hired to develop the construction documents just on the Main Street side to make sure things are running smoothly and that we're all on the same page. So with that, if there's no more questions, I want to thank you all for attending. Again, I look forward to seeing everybody in their communities. For those that I haven't, I think I'm about 12 down. I only got 18 more to go. So I look forward to seeing you all there and at the quarterly in Tucumcari. Thanks all, and take care.